Hello everyone, welcome to the Buzz the Prey Manga. Today we continue the latest Global Freeze chapter, rewritten and edited by me in English for a smooth reading experience. All visuals and story flow are personally edited to give you the best manga style storytelling. Support the original creator by checking the official manga. So let's dive right into the today's chapter.
Chapter 26:55 I'm Back 1. In the underground dark temple, the lingering phantoms of the three-pillar gods remain. Neon-like souls struggle on the altar, and rows of crimson torii gates are connected by hemp ropes to form a barrier. These memories and images flooded into Yang Xinshin's mind. Rope, neon, is derived from the land of the Swamp Rat clan. They revere rope, using it as the foundation of the word. Since ancient times, Japan has believed that rope can form a seal, hence the origin of. Yang Xinshin took a deep breath and slowly withdrew her hand. The pink light completely swallowed the last trace of blue light from the depths of the woman's eyes. She collapsed, suspended in midair by the boundless realm, like a rag doll whose soul had been drained. Her memories have been fully read, and she has a grasp of the basic situation of the land by the river. Yang Xinshin wiped the sweat from her forehead, looked up at Zhang Yi, and her eyes held a hint of pride. Put her away first. He raised his hand and grabbed. The wet woman was sent into the shadow space as a concubine. There might be another chance to play this game later. He looked up at the sky above Tianhai City in the distance. The city's outline appeared extremely fragmented after the war, with ruined buildings resembling broken bones stuck in the sea breeze, giving off a sense of oppression and pain. The bloodshed in Tianhai City over the past 2 years leaves clear and glaring marks. The vast ruins stretch across the coastal defense zone, the broken walls and rubble resembling old, torn wounds. Some makeshift prefabricated houses are squeezed among them, and the winding trenches and fortifications constrict the entire city like a rope ready to snap at any moment. Many once magnificent high-rise buildings were bombed, leaving only broken skeletons standing in the sea breeze. Zhang Yi couldn't help but sigh deeply. Destruction is easy, construction is difficult. It took so long to build Tianhai City, but every time it's destroyed, it's so easy. It's time to reinforce it to a higher level. Actually, he originally planned to demolish and rebuild Tianhai City, so he didn't feel any reluctance. The two figures flashed, leaving long after images, and broke through the clouds, descending towards the direction of Tianhai City. The air defense array above Tianhai City, which had been stretched to its limit, almost simultaneously relaxed the moment he landed. Your Excellency! Your Excellency! Cheers erupted for Zhang Yi, and at such times, their dependence on and admiration for him deepened even further. Everyone was moved to tears, feeling a sense of happiness, as if they had survived a catastrophe. Deng Shintong was the first to rush forward. His eyes were sunken, and he looked somewhat haggard, but at that moment his eyes were surprisingly bright. He looked up and saw the white imperial battle armor falling from the sky. Depend on. He cursed first, and the next second his whole body was grinning and running over. I told you you wouldn't die. Don't tell me you disappeared on Planet Bo. I'm telling you, they're all talking nonsense. How could heaven bear to take away such a scourge as chaos? Deng Shintong rushed up to Zhang Yi, grabbed his shoulder, and shook him vigorously twice, trying to confirm whether this guy was really him. Zhang Yi's lips curled into a smile. Of course. How could I die so easily? Don't you know me? You know me perfectly well. I'm the hardest to kill. Why have you been out of contact for 2 years? Deng Shintong punched Zhang Yi's shoulder hard, as if venting the pent-up emotions he had been suppressing for the past 2 years. We clean up your messes and take care of your home every day. Do you know how we've managed to get by these past 2 years? I can't sleep soundly every night, and I worry about enemy attacks day and night. You've got it all figured out. You've been gone for 2 whole years. On the sea, a huge shadow slowly approached. Xuanwu poked its head out in the form of a sea turtle, its back covered in cracks. These cracks were welded shut by its own power, making it appear even rougher, yet also more stable. Chaos. The sound of Xuanwu came rolling in on the sea breeze. Congratulations on your successful trip. I left Earth for 2 years and took a trip around the universe. Given your personality, you won't leave until you've turned the whole planet upside down. They must have found a lot of treasures. His words carried a hint of mockery, but after the mockery came a sigh that could not be seen. But in the last 2 years, the kingdom of Huaxiu is having a very tough time. Deng Shintong lowered his eyelids. Anyway, it's good that you're back. He wore a battle coat, the hem still stained with dried blood. His steps were steady, but one could see the exhaustion from days of sleeplessness. Billy Chongqing and Wu Di followed closely behind. Li Chongqing carried a longbow on his back, the bowstring completely slack. Wu Di's battle armor's chest core glowed with intermittent light, his gaze fixed intently on Zhang Yi, filled with the worship of a strong person. They stood in front of Zhang Yi, too excited to speak for a long time. Li Chongqing opened his mouth, seemingly wanting to curse. "You bastard, you made us worry to death." But in the end, he only said softly, "It's good that you're back." Zhang Yi looked at everyone's bloodshot eyes and nodded faintly. "Thank you for your hard work." 2 years have passed and so much has happened. He knows that everyone has so much to say to him, but at this moment, all those words can be condensed into this one word of comfort. These simple words, however, carried more weight in Deng Shintong's ears than any grand pronouncement. It's inappropriate to talk about how hard it is. Deng Shintong rubbed the corner of his eye and forced a smile. "We are still alive. As long as I'm alive, there's still a chance to wait for you to come back." Xuanwu slowly moved its body in the sea, bringing itself closer to the shoreline of Tianhai City. "Chaos, you've been gone for 2 years, and Tianhai City hasn't had any trouble. In the lands of Hikari and Zipin, several conflicts, large and small, have occurred. If you had arrived any later today, I reckon I would have had to flee with all the troops." Zhang Yi had devised a plan B. If a crisis occurred here, they would relocate. Zhang Yi looked up and surveyed the city. "This city is somewhat dilapidated. Well then, let's rebuild it first." He said it casually. The sound wasn't loud, but it drowned out all the surrounding noise. The next second, he raised his hand and waved. The gate of 3,000 paths slowly unfolds, with Tianhai City at its center. The entire city, along with the vast area on the sea, was brought under Zhang Yi's control. He forcibly pulled the first enormous object out of the alternate dimension. That is a huge disc-shaped base. It has a diameter of nearly 1,000 meters and a thickness of several meters. It is made of some kind of silver-gray metal, with fine dark patterns on the surface and an internal structure that is so complex that it is not visible to the naked eye. As soon as the base appeared, all the detectors in the entire Tianhai City screamed simultaneously. "Know the energy reaction. Spatial structure disturbance. High-dimensional interference coefficient exceeds the standard." Deng Shintong looked up at the disk that blocked the vast sky and couldn't help but widen his eyes. "Holy crap. You brought back a whole city from Planet Boo." Chapter 26:56 I'm back, too. The roar echoed along the entire coastline. The massive metal base was positioned precisely above the most damaged coastal defense zone of Tianhai City. The originally collapsed breakwater was enveloped by a spreading silver-white light film the instant it came into contact with the edge of the base, and then underwent a slight deformation along with the base. The cracks disappeared, and the broken wave-breaking structure was as if it had been integrated into a higher-level whole and rearranged. A new city wall extends from the edge of the base, completely blocking the edge of the entire Tianhai City area. It is a silver-gray coastal Great Wall. That was a protective structure made entirely of concrete manufactured using the technology of the Sand Raiders civilization. With it, from now on, Tianhai City will become one of the world's top fortresses. Even night-level attacks could not destroy it in one hit. The city walls stand tall, gleaming with a cold metallic luster in the sunlight. Their surface is devoid of any superfluous decorations, featuring only concentric circles of minimalist energy lines. Xuanwu looked at the huge, towering, silver-gray city wall, and his expression immediately became serious. This material, he patted the edge of the base with his enormous tortoise claws, feeling its near-absolute solidity. His pupils suddenly contracted, because although he hadn't used much force, the solid feel of it gave him the impression that even a full-force blow wouldn't be able to destroy it. With this kind of material, even a full-force attack would probably only leave a shallow scratch at most. Without continuous bombardment, it's impossible to penetrate. Chaos. What exactly did you bring back from Mars? Zhang Yi nodded. This is something good that we found from the advanced civilization, the Sand Raider civilization on Mars. Using it to defend Tianhai City is already a case of dimensional reduction. He did not stop moving. You should know that in the entire Martian world, he didn't miss a single building that could be stored away. Energy towers, industrial bases, large factories. These are all ready-made, undamaged, and can be used directly after being taken out. He didn't waste even the houses where ordinary people lived. After all, no one lives there, so it's just sitting idle anyway. The second one, the third one. One by one, buildings from the Martian world were dragged out of the alien space, like giant building blocks, falling from the sky and landing precisely on the gaps torn open by war in Tianhai City. The abandoned buildings were directly replaced, creating a stunning visual effect that left everyone speechless as an even larger city was built. Some buildings spiral straight into the sky. Some resemble a giant metal tree with branches covered in spheres of light, and some are composed of countless suspended cubes, each of which is slowly rotating. After landing, they unfolded on their own, automatically connecting with the newly laid base, releasing waves of energy and seamlessly integrating with the city's underground pipe network and existing structures. Defense towers rose up along the coast. The tower is compact, with a circular track suspended at the top, on which dozens of silver light blades rotate. Any energy that gets close to the energy source will be instantly shredded once these orbits capture its trace. In the heart of the city, an even taller energy tower pierces the clouds. Inside the tower, faint starlight slowly descends from a higher dimension, flowing along the tower's engravings and eventually pouring into underground energy pipelines, like giving the entire Tianhai City a brand new set of blood vessels. The dilapidated residential area was gradually replaced by Martian-style buildings before everyone's eyes, leaving them shocked and dumbfounded. The new street is paved with metal panels and some kind of black elastic material. The material quickly returns to its original shape after being subjected to a strong impact, preventing secondary damage caused by ground cracking during combat. The spatial structure of the entire Tianhai City subtly shifted after these buildings were constructed. It is still on the coastline of the East Sea region, but it is no longer a thin plate that can be torn apart by tsunamis and aliens. Instead, it is a steel plate with thickness and elasticity. Anyone who tries to attack again will have all their teeth broken if they don't have good teeth. Deng Shintong was dumbfounded. What are you doing? Bring back an entire cultural heritage site. He couldn't help but rub his eyes. Those sand scavengers' ancestral graves must be emitting smoke from their anger. Xuanwu watched from the side with his eyes shining, clicking his tongue in envy. Goodness, I'll only let you pick up some mineral resources when you go out. Now that I see it, it's like you treated the whole city like Lego, dismantled it, brought it back, and reassembled it yourself, huh? Xuanwu stared at the towers that had just landed and were still automatically adjusting, its tortoise shell slowly unfolding on its back. With these things here, at least for the time being, Tianhai City no longer needs to fear harassment from the Zepin Kingdom's troops. Zhang Yi relocated the entire city. The original Tianhai City was only partially preserved, with most of the buildings replaced by Mars-themed structures. In less than 10 minutes, Tianhai City was completely transformed. These buildings come from a higher level of civilization. He spoke calmly. Although that civilization has been destroyed for hundreds of millions of years, it is already a luxury for the current Huaxiu Kingdom. They can withstand the full force of an inhuman of knight rank. After the storm, even in the battlefield of Tianhai City, it will no longer shatter at the slightest touch, just like before. As soon as he finished speaking, many of the logistics and defense planning personnel in Tianhai City had already turned red in the eyes. They knew better than anyone what this meant. This means that the city is no longer just a temporary fortress built with flesh and blood and rough steel bars. Rather, it is a true fortress that has been forged and tempered through numerous wars, yet still remains intact. Deng Shintong let out a long breath, his face showing signs of exhaustion as if the wind had carried it away. All right, with this move, you've made up for the losses of the past 2 years all at once. Next, we should consider how to collect the debts owed to us, little by little, from those ancient civilizations. He changed the subject abruptly, immediately regaining his commander's sharpness. What are your next steps? Should we call the top executives from the 6 major regions over for a meeting? How should the spoils on Mars be distributed? The 6 major regions should get a share. They haven't had an easy time these past 2 years. And what about the ancient civilization? We need a unified strategy to deal with them. Zhang Yi did not reply immediately, but instead called to the members of the Shadow Squad. Go back first, and then we can talk slowly. Skyse Fortress stands in the very center of the city. Zhang Yi smiled and said to everyone, "Don't be nervous, everyone. Just relax for a bit." Deng Shintong and the others were still tense, but they relaxed a little after hearing Zhang Yi's words. Surrounded by over 100,000 civilians and soldiers, Zhang Yi and his entourage made their way to the Tianhai Fortress. When they entered that idyllic, eternally warm and beautiful fortress, Deng Shintong and his companions finally relaxed, panting heavily. Here ends today's chapter. I hope you liked it. Kindly do also subscribe to my gaming channel. I have to Fina a way to survive. Thanks.
Chapter. Tell me in the comments which part you enjoyed the most. If you love manga style stories, don't forget to like the video and subscribe the Buzz Play Manga. See you in the next chapter with more surprises.